Let us move on to the next topic. It is bipolar junction transistors. Bipolar junction transistors. Okay. In short, it is called as a transistor. It is also called as bipolar junction transistor. It is called as bipolar junction transistor because both holes and electrons are responsible for the current conduction in the transistor, and hence it is called as bipolar device. Bipolar transistor or a bipolar device. Bipolar device means both the holes and electrons are responsible for the current conduction in the device or the current conduction in the transistor, and hence the transistor is called as a bipolar device. If only holes or the electrons, any one of the holes or the electrons are responsible for the current conduction in the device, then it is called as unipolar device. Unipolar means either the hole or the electron will be responsible, any one of these will be responsible for the current conduction in the device. Such devices are called unipolar device. For example, if we consider FET, field effect transistor, okay, which we'll be studying in module 5, right? That is a unipolar device. It is a unipolar device. Okay. This bipolar junction transistor is defined as it is a semiconductor device that has 3 layers. It is a semiconductor device that has 3 layers, either 2p and 1 layer, or either 2p and 1 n layer, or 2n and 1p layer. How is BJT defined? In short, it is called as BJT. B for bipolar, J for junction, T for transistor. BJT is a 3-layer, or bipolar junction transistor is a 3-layer semiconductor device which has 2p and 1n layer or 2n and 1p layer. Based on this, the PNP, it is called as, if there are 2p and 1n layer, it is called as PNP transistor. If there are 2n and 1p layer, it is called as NPN transistor. Clear here, students? Now, the middle layer, that is N for PNP transistor, it is sandwiched between the 2 outer layers. It is said to be sandwiched. It is the middle layer. It is said to be sandwiched between the, or placed between the 2 outer layers. The width of this middle layer or the sandwiched layer is less as compared to the width of the 2 outer layers. Even if we consider the NPN transistor also, the width of the middle layer or the sandwich layer, that is P layer here, is less as compared to the width of the outer 2 layers. Okay. Then the amount of doping done to this sandwiched layer is also less as compared to the amount of doping done to the 2 outer layers. As the amount of doping done to the sandwich layer is less, hence its conductivity is also less and its resistance is high. More the doping, more the conductivity, and lesser is the resistance. Less the doping, okay, less the doping, less the conductivity, and higher is the resistance. Clear, students, here? So this is how we are writing the definition of a bipolar junction transistor, as it is a 3-layer semiconductor device which has either 2p and 1n layer called as PNP transistor, or 2n and 1p layer called as NPN transistor. Okay. Let us go into the details of this bipolar junction transistor. It is a 3-layer semiconductor device consisting of either 2n and 1p layer type layers of material called NPN transistor, or 2p and 1n type layers of material called PNP transistor. One more important term we are using here called as DC biasing. DC biasing is the DC voltages that are applied to the transistor. Here we are applying some DC voltages, as you can see here. These DC voltages we are applying to the transistor in order to make certain suitable current and voltage to be in the circuit, transistor circuit. Okay, the DC voltages are applied to the transistor so that certain current and voltages are available in the transistor circuit. Okay, so such applying of DC voltages to the transistor, it is called as DC biasing. When we apply the DC voltage to the transistor, then it establishes, or it forms, it makes certain current to flow through the transistor, and also there will be a certain voltage drop across the transistor. Okay, there will be suitable current and voltage in the transistor circuit because of applying of the DC voltages to this transistor or to the transistor circuit. And this applying of DC voltage to the transistor is called as DC biasing. DC biasing. Clear here? DC biasing necessary to establish the proper region of operation for AC amplification. This DC voltage, whatever we are applying, this makes the transistor operation to be in the linear region. Okay, that is, here we are using the transistor as an amplifier. Okay, we are using the transistor as an amplifier. So as we are using the transistor as an amplifier, in order to make the transistor to work as an amplifier, proper DC voltages should be applied. When we apply proper DC voltage, then only it is possible to operate the transistor as an amplifier. Okay, so this is what is called as the DC biasing. Outer layers have widths much greater than the sandwich P or N-type layer. Doping of sandwich layer is less than that of the outer layers. This lower doping level decreases the conductivity, that is, it increases the resistance of the material by limiting the number of free carriers. As the number of carriers are less, because of lower doping level, which decreases the conductivity and increases the resistance. Why the term bipolar is used? Because holes and electrons both are responsible for the current conduction process, and hence the term bipolar is used for the bipolar junction transistor, for the transistor. Next we will see the transistor operation. How does the transistor work? What is the working of the transistor? Okay. Here I have considered a transistor where I have forward biased emitter to base junction. Here if you see this circuit, emitter to base junction is forward biased. That is, P of the transistor is connected to positive of the battery, N of the transistor is connected to negative of the battery. That means this transistor is now in forward bias condition. This transistor is now in forward bias condition. Okay. What about the base to collector junction? Base to collector junction is open circuited. This base to junction collector junction, it is emitter base collector. It has 3 terminals. Transistor always has 3 terminals: emitter terminal, base terminal, and collector terminal. Emitter to base terminal is forward biased. Base to collector terminal is open circuited. Collector terminal is open circuited here. When collector terminal is open circuited here, we are having only the forward biased condition of the emitter to base. This forward biased condition of emitter to base is similar to that of the forward biased diode, which we have already studied. Right? The emitter to base junction, which is forward biased, it is similar to the forward biased diode condition. When the diode is forward biased, what will happen here? Positive of this battery is repelling the majority carriers, that is holes in the P type, and the negative of the battery is repelling the majority carriers, that is electrons in the N type. Okay, so as they are repelling here, what will happen here? There is, in the forward bias condition, what will happen? There will be less depletion width. Because of this repelling, what will happen? These positive and negative ions, they come closer together, they combine at the depletion region, and hence the width of the depletion region decreases. As the width of the depletion region decreases, there is heavy flow of current from the emitter towards the collector or across the junction. Okay, it is because of decrease in the width of the depletion region, because of the combination of the holes and the electrons at the depletion region. Clear here, students? So this is how the forward bias junction of a PNP transistor. This is when the transistor is forward biased. Emitter base junction is forward biased. Next, we will consider the condition, that is reverse bias condition. That is, PNP transistor is shown without base to collector bias. Depletion region has been reduced in width because of this heavy flow of majority carriers is taking place from P to N type material. As shown in the next figure, it will be shown in the next figure, that is reverse biased condition of the transistor. That is, base to emitter bias of PNP transistor is removed. You can see here in this figure, the emitter to base junction is removed. The emitter to base is open circuited. Okay, in the previous figure, emitter to base we had forward biased. In this, the emitter to base is open circuited. The emitter terminal is open circuited. What about base to collector? The N of the transistor is connected to positive of the battery. P of the transistor is connected to negative of the battery. N of the transistor is connected to positive of the battery. P of the transistor is connected to negative of the battery. That is, this transistor is now in reverse bias condition. It is similar to reverse bias condition of the diode, because there is one N layer, one P layer. It is reverse biased, and hence it is similar to the diode which is in reverse bias condition. We know that when the diode is in reverse bias condition, positive of this battery attracts the electrons which are majority carriers in N type, and negative of this battery attracts the holes which are majority carriers in P type. So as it is attracting the electrons towards the plates, the width of the depletion region will increase. The depletion region is shown here. Width of the depletion region will increase because of attraction of the majority carriers by the plates of the applied DC voltage. Because of this, what is happening? Increase in the depletion region width makes the majority carrier current very less, or the majority carrier current flowing across the junction is almost zero. Then the current that is flowing across the junction is only due to few minority carriers. The current that is flowing across the junction is due to few minority carriers, which is called as the leakage current or the reverse current. Okay, it is only due to the certain minority carriers which are flowing across the junction. Because of that, there is a few current or few amount of current that is very less, which is in terms of microampere or nanoampere. It is in terms of microampere or nanoampere. The forward bias condition current is, that is emitter base, when it is forward biased, the current magnitude is in terms of milliampere. When the base to collector junction is reverse biased, the magnitude of the current is in terms of microampere or nanoampere. Okay, that is the leakage current magnitude is in terms of microampere or nanoampere. Fine. Flow of majority carriers is 0, which results in minority carrier flow as shown in this figure. That is, one PN junction of a transistor is forward biased. Next, we will be showing the condition when one PN junction of a transistor is forward biased and the other junction is reverse biased. If we see this figure here, this is the figure which shows both the condition. That is, emitter base is forward biased and base to collector is reverse biased. Both are shown in the same figure. When both are shown in the same figure, as you can see here, the thicker arrow mark, it indicates the majority carriers, which are larger in number. Heavy majority carrier current flows when the diode is in the forward bias condition, and when the depletion region width is very less. The thin depletion region, what you are seeing is the decreased depletion region in the forward bias condition, and the thick arrow mark, what you are seeing is due to the majority carrier flow, due to the large magnitude of majority carrier current flowing across the junction. And when it is reverse biased, that is when VCC, this voltage VCC is applied to base collector junction, it is reverse biased, is it not? When it is reverse biased, then it is increasing the width of the depletion region. Depletion region width is increased. The thick depletion region, whatever you are seeing, it is due to the reverse bias condition of base to collector junction. Base to collector junction reverse biased. And the thin arrow mark, whatever you are seeing, the thin arrow mark, okay, this is due to the minority carrier current that is flowing across the junction due to the reverse bias condition of the base to collector. When base to collector is reverse biased, minority current or leakage current flows across the junction, that is in terms of microampere or nanoampere. Okay, students. So that is what it is. Both biasing potentials are applied to PNP transistor, which results in both majority and minority carrier current flowing in the circuit. As shown in this figure, whatever I explained just now, a large number of majority carriers will flow across the junction into the N-type material. As sandwich N-type material is very thin, there is one more point here. So the sandwich N-type material, in between, that is N-type sandwich material, is very thin. It is lightly doped. The doping done to this sandwich layer is very less. Hence, the conductivity will also be less. Okay. If the emitter current flowing is IE, this will be split through base and collector. Okay. IE is flowing from P across the junction. When IE current flows here, it splits as IB current and IC current. IE is equal to IB plus IC, because this sandwich layer has small amount of conductivity because of less doping, small amount of doping. Hence, the emitter current is the sum of base current and collector current. That is, IE will be equal to IB plus IC. IE will be equal to IB plus IC. As sandwich N-type layer is very thin, a small number of carriers will take the path of high resistance towards the base terminal. That is, the leakage current is in terms of microampere. Large number of these majority carriers will flow across the junction into p-type material connected to collector terminal. All the minority carriers in the depletion region will cross the reverse junction of a diode, resulting in current flow as shown in the figure. That is thin line, what arrow mark, whatever is shown here, that is the minority carrier current or the leakage current. If we apply Kirchhoff's current law, KCL, if I apply this Kirchhoff's current law, okay, if I apply this Kirchhoff's current law here, then due to this Kirchhoff's current law, what is happening? Due to this Kirchhoff's current law, the emitter current is sum of base current and the collector current. Emitter current is the sum of base current and the collector current. What about the collector current? Collector current has two components. One is majority carrier current, another one is minority carrier current. Majority carrier current is the current which is flowing here, that is IC, the total current due to majority carrier. Okay. Minority carrier current is due to the small arrow, that is minority carrier current. Okay. Normal current is majority carrier current. Okay. The minority carrier current is the leakage current. Okay. So total collector current is IC majority plus ICO minority. Okay. This ICO minority is nothing but it is called as the leakage current. It is called as leakage current, which is sensitive to the temperature. It is temperature sensitive. As it is temperature sensitive, whenever there is change in temperature, there is change in the leakage current. As temperature increases, leakage current increases. As temperature decreases, leakage current also decreases. Okay, students. So this is all about the bipolar junction transistor introduction. Then we saw that definition of BJT or bipolar junction transistor. We analyzed the operation of the BJT, bipolar junction transistor working. Then next is DC biasing. I'll just tell in brief what is DC biasing, then we'll take up this in the next class. DC biasing, as I told, it is applying of DC voltage to the transistors in order to make suitable current and voltages to be available in the transistor circuit. Okay, so this DC biasing we are applying so that the transistor will be able to suitably amplify the applied input signal. Whatever input signal is applied, that should be amplified by the transistor. Transistor works as an amplifier. Okay, transistor has many applications. Transistor can be used as a switch. Transistor can be used as an amplifier. Transistor can be used as an oscillator. Okay, transistor can be used as a filter to remove the unwanted components in the circuit, to remove the noise in the circuit. Okay, so there are various applications of the transistor. Right? So one of the applications of a transistor is transistor can be used as an amplifier. Okay, so for proper amplification of the transistor, we have to apply DC voltage to the transistor, which is called as DC biasing. Transistor is an electronic device. Another definition of transistor, it is an electronic device that controls the flow of electric current and is either used as an amplifier or a switch. What does a transistor do? It controls the flow of electric current. Suppose if you are applying a small amplitude signal at the base terminal. Okay, so that small amplitude base signal, whatever you are applying at the base terminal, that will be amplified and available at the collector. Right? So this is working as an amplifier. It works as an amplifier and simultaneously it works as a switch also. Whatever emitter current we are applying, if it is conducted, the transistor is fully on state, if it is conducting, then it comes to the collector. Okay, if it is in non-conducting state, okay, then it is almost a zero current or the zero collector current. Okay, so it is working as on and off switch. Right? So transistor works as an amplifier and also as a switch. Analysis or design of any electronic amplifier has two components. If you want to analyze the transistor, we have to analyze if you are applying an AC signal to the transistor. The AC signal, whatever we are applying to the transistor, has two components. Or we have to analyze the applied AC signal, whatever we are applying to the transistor, its DC portion. The AC input signal, whatever we are applying to the transistor, has DC component and also the AC component. It is not a pure AC. Okay, if it is pure AC, then it is different. But sometimes what will happen, the applied AC signal will be having some amount of DC signal also along with the AC signal. That means we have to perform both DC analysis and AC analysis of the applied input signal. Clear here? Therefore, that is necessary for the DC biasing. that we have to analyze or design in any electronic amplifier, it requires DC portion and the AC portion. In the analysis of all the transistor circuits, there is some similarity. The similarity is in the equations. The equations that are used are, you may be familiar with these equations. VB is equal to 0.7 volts. Always the base to emitter voltage of the transistor is 0.7 volts. Then emitter current is given by the equation beta plus 1 into IB. I is equal to beta plus 1 into IB. Beta is the current gain. Beta is output current by input current. Beta is ratio of output current to input current. This beta is very, very larger than 1. Beta is very, very larger than 1. Therefore, I can write this equation simply as I is equal to beta into IB. Beta into IB, where beta into IB is nothing but equation for collector current. Therefore, that is approximately equal to IC. Or IC is equal to beta into IB. IC is equal to beta into IB. Okay, students. That is, if we find the IB value, if we know the IB value, right, then we can find out the values of the other parameters such as IE, IC by using the equations. That is, IE is equal to beta plus 1 into IB and IC is equal to beta into IB. So this is how we are analyzing or designing any circuit which is making use of the transistor. The term biasing refers to applying of DC voltages to obtain fixed level of current and voltage. The resulting current and voltage forms an operating point on the characteristics. Whatever current and voltage we are getting when we are applying the DC voltage, so because of that current and voltage, it forms a point on the characteristic curve. That point is called as the operating point. In the next class, we'll discuss in detail about the operating points. So the point which is obtained on the characteristic curves, which has a particular value of current and the voltage, it is called as the operating point. So the resulting current and voltage forms an operating point on the characteristics, which explains the region that will be used for amplification of the applied signal. Operating point is also called as quiescent point or Q point. Quiescent means still or fixed. Okay, so that is why the operating point is also called as quiescent point or Q point. We'll discuss this in detail in the next class about the operating point. Was it clear to you all students here? The topics of today's class? Clear? Any questions here? Yes? Yes, please. Students, any questions here? Was it understood? So what all we discussed in today's class, students? We discussed about an example, then we started with the bipolar junction transistor, its definition, working of a bipolar junction transistor. Then we discussed in brief about the DC biasing. In the next class, we'll be discussing in detail about the operating point. Okay, students? So any questions here? Anyone, any questions? Any apart from what all we discussed here, any questions? Clear, right, to everyone? Understood? Following? Yes? Everyone are following here? Yes, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, right. Then we'll wind up the today's session. Okay. We'll continue in the next class. Right? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.